family, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. You guys, we have to get into the tea about Kandi and Todd. But before we do that, please hit that like button. Now let's get into the mess. Okay, you guys, so the tea is spilling and it's piping hot, y'all. So when the story first broke, the headlines were saying that, you know, it's an amicable divorce and they're going to work things out for the sake of the kids and stuff. And I knew that ish wasn't going to last, because there's a lot of money involved. Also because of some of the things that Mama Joyce had been saying from the beginning of the marriage, the whole prenup. So y'all know once this hit divorce status and once attorneys get involved, it's never gonna be cute, right? But anyway, over the last week or so, the one thing we know is that Kandi wants a gag order. She does not want anybody in their business. She just, and I can understand it, like she don't want the, you know, monies to be disclosed, all of these things, because I think when you kind of go back and look at it, if some of this stuff is public record, it's going to make her look bad. We know that she was fronting the relationship and the marriage and everything, but god damn, you damn near taking care of this man. You know, I think that's what it's gonna look like. Also, she put it when she filed, she made a lot of technical errors. Well, let's say her attorney did, because they wanted to kind of keep it buried. And so they used not aliases, but the way they spelled the names. And a lot of the information wasn't apparent, so that it would make it hard for people to really find it. But she should know, with the internet sleuths, y'all, they was going to find out. So a couple of things are coming out, and things are being reported that Todd is contesting the prenup. He wants full custody, full primary custody. Of course, they would probably get joint legal custody, because that's kind of like 50-50 period. But he's saying that he's the primary caretaker of the children. He's been the custodial parent, that Kandi, you know, she's off working and everything. And so even if he contests the prenup, right, the amount of money that he's owed, now that there are kids involved, that will totally shift everything. Sorry, that's just the way it is. First of all, people should know prenups can be contested anyway. So that's that's nothing new there. Of course, he was saying, I want to marry you, I don't care about the money. But the lifestyle that he was living at the time, I mean, yeah, that was a good move. Even if he wasn't aligned with the prenup and he didn't like, you know, what the prenup said, you're going to get about a good decade of, you know, a lavish lifestyle. And then on the back end, I'm sure the attorneys told him, we can always contest it. Once kids are involved, then there's spousal support. So let's get into some of the stuff that's coming out now. Because now they're saying that, well, we know that Todd is contesting the prenup. He's trying to get the spousal support. I'm sure he wants to get, you know, he wants to be the primary custodial parent, which means he's going to need child support. And now they're saying that Kandi, allegedly Todd had cheated. Okay, y'all. So let's get into what they're saying. So they're saying this divorce that was supposed to be so friendly and amicable has now turned into a full-blown hot tea crisis, y'all. It says, so the headlines made it sound like Kandi and Todd were just growing apart and too busy for each other. According to People magazine, and keep in mind, they have a long, solid relationship with Kandi. You remember Kandi with Bravo Con and all these people, they be leaking information. The reason she filed for divorce, this is what they're saying, it wasn't random. They're saying, and it wasn't sudden, it definitely wasn't mild. Sources say Kandi allegedly found out that Todd had been talking to other women behind her back. Not just recently, but for a while. And apparently she had no idea what was happening. Well, you know, I'm not even going to get into all the nuances of this open relationship and having people into your bedroom. But Mama Joyce had told her this a long time ago. She said, I forget the girl's name, but her friend, remember she said she had saw her sitting on his lap and she had heard stuff around about town about Todd. So I'm sure Todd has and then even when they got together, there's some old allegations, this was like years ago, that Todd was still seeing one of his exes, and that he had told her, the other girl, she didn't have the money Kandi had, that he wasn't that attracted to Kandi, and you know, that he had still been seeing this other woman on the side. So you know, I kind of believe it. You letting this man have other women in your bed? Hell, why not? Why wouldn't he go out there and have somebody else? I don't believe in all that open relationship and other women in your bed. Hell, you let him bring them in the bed, he gonna bring them when you're not there. Anyway, it says, and this is where the internet detectives clocked in for their shift, because the theory started flying immediately. A lot of fans believe that at least one of these women might have been someone the couple already had brought into their bedroom. Remember, Kandi and Todd were open about experimenting and inviting people into their marriage. So now folks are wondering, did the openness backfire? I'm going to say marriage is hard. marriages fall apart all the time, with or without the open marriage, but that probably did not help, right? So fast forward, Kandi has been public and open about the fact that, she's kind of struggling with it. I think she was doing like an Amazon Live or something, and she was saying it's not easy, but she's trying to co-parent and do things for the sake of the children. She was going on saying that life had been crazy lately and her emotions were all over the place, but she was trying to hang in there. Now, when she did that live, that's before we started hearing all the drama about Todd contesting the prenup. This article goes on to say, and here's what really threw people off. Despite all this drama, Kandi and Todd still sat down together for Thanksgiving with their kids, Ace and Blaze. They even celebrated Blaze's 6th birthday as a family that same week. But insiders say, do not let the holiday pictures fool you. The split is way deeper than what they're putting out publicly. And I believe that too. I mean, they have to show face for the kids, try to co-parent. And especially now, since this is a lawsuit, since this is a divorce proceedings, they are going to try to have to play nice because the judge is going to look at all their behavior. And that is going to determine some things about custody. So, you'd never want to be the parent that's not willing to cooperate or participate or whatever. So really right now, they're both probably trying to appear to be civil in front of the court. They've also been reported that Todd is still living in the house, one of the houses that Kandi bought with the children. So I don't really understand how this time split worked. Maybe, I know Kandi is always doing something, either in a movie, on the road, so maybe Todd was staying there, and then we found out they have been separated for a while, I believe since back in July. So that's also an issue. I mean, I don't know who consulted her. I'm in California and I went through a crazy custody case, so trust me, I know. But if Todd has been with those children for the last 6 months without Kandi residing under the same roof, and he's been the custodial parent, primary parent, taking them to school and doing all the daddy daycare duties, that might be a bit of a problem. That's going to weigh in his favor for sure. So they're saying he's living in her house. He wants to stay there. And I know that's a point of contention. Negro, you living in a house that I'm paying for, that I purchased. Yeah, that's, I'm sure Kandi is pissed about that. And okay, it says, listen, the red flags didn't just pop up yesterday. Fans of Real Housewives of Atlanta might remember back in 2020 when Kandi and Todd were in therapy on camera. Todd had admitted that they hadn't had time to be happy, and Kandi acknowledged that their intimacy had dipped big time. Okay, so you bring other people in your bedroom, your intimacy dipped. What the hell you think this man gonna do? I'm just saying, men and women are different, but if the bedroom activities are not on par, yeah, he's going to, and you letting him bring women. Okay, anyway. It says their businesses start overlapping and their schedules got out of control, and that emotional connection just faded. So it's like the relationship just went AWOL. It also says, for anyone who forgot the timeline, Kandi and Todd met on Real Housewives of Atlanta in 2011. They got engaged in 2013 and had that iconic Coming to America theme wedding in 2014. They built businesses, raised their blended family, and handled fame side by side. But the problem was that Mama Joyce knew early on that Todd may have been an opportunist. I mean, he stayed for a good decade, so, I give him credit for that. But this is well played, because at the end, when he was saying he didn't care about the prenup, clearly you do, because you're contesting it now. But today, Kandi says she's shifting her energy. She's choosing peace, focusing on her kids, and pouring into her work and her own growth. She thanked everyone for support and asked for privacy, y'all. I'm just being silly. And I'm just going to be honest. With these cheating rumors, the speculation about women from their own bedroom adventures, and talk that Todd might be pushing for primary custody, privacy is probably the last thing this divorce is about to get, for sure. She's asking for a gag order, so we'll have to wait and see. The judge probably will grant it because, just in fairness, she is a public figure. A lot of their private information she probably doesn't want out there. So I can't see why a judge would deny that request. So that's the latest. They're saying that Todd actually cheated and has been cheating. And, I think some of the prior articles said that Kandi was just tired of funding his lifestyle and failed business ventures. And it's a good thing for her to get out now before he totally wipes her out. You know what I'm saying? So we'll have to see what's going to happen with this prenup, with the spousal support, and with the child support, and the division of the properties, because they're saying Todd wants to claim some of the properties that, some of the assets that she had even before marriage. Definitely things that they acquired during the marriage that should be split equally. But now they're saying he wants some shit that he didn't even work for. So we'll have to see. But y'all jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.